So people who gathered here last Sunday, you probably know that we started the Battle of Badr, and last week we talked about how Rasulullah got the information, and also how the Quraysh, they come to the battlefield. What was the real goal of the Battle of Badr? Basically, it was just the caravan of Abu Sufyan and all these things. So today, inshallah ta'ala, very shortly we'll describe the incident in the battle. And as I mentioned last week, that there is no writer or someone sitting there writing the battle. So we just have description from different Sahaba later on, from different incidents, and we just get them together, piece together, and try to make a story. And also, because it's a short one, I put it like as much short information as possible. Still a bit longer than the other ones. So have patience, inshallah ta'ala. Allah will give us reward as long as every minute is spent here, inshallah. But I'll try my best to make it as short as possible. Let's begin. So this is the night of the Battle of Badr. Sorry, we're having some problem from last week. That the Surah Al-Anfal is all about Battle of Badr. All about Battle of Badr. So in that, Allah said that this ayah number 11, that I have given you some blessings. The meaning of that, what are the blessings? Allah give them sleep. Usually if you have a battle, and this is not something like exam or something. This battle means they're about to die. They know they're facing like 1,000 enemy, and it's like almost that they're going to be finished from the earth. 300 people without any training, nothing. They never fight. So there for them it is a very big day tomorrow. And at that time, you are not able to sleep. Wallahi, like brother, we have something tomorrow morning, an interview or something, we couldn't sleep last night, right? So, but Allah give them sleep because to make them physically strong. Also, Allah said, I give them rain. In the rain, there's two things, that it will spiritually cleansing them up. And rain makes the environment more sleepy and everything. Like in the desert, when you have a little bit of rain, it's more nice to have it. Also, with the rain, the place, and it says that the rain was only in the side of the Muslim. And it was very little rain to make the sand strong enough to walk. Because in the desert, as you know, when you walk normally, it's very difficult to walk and run in the desert, right? But if you have a little bit of rain, the right amount of rain, it makes the ground solid for you, so it's easy for walk and run. So these are the blessings that Allah sent just before the Battle of Badr. And Rasulullah, and it mentioned that Ali mentioned that everybody had a good sleep. But Rasulullah was keep making dua almost all the night. So he was making his tahajjud and making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, saying that, oh Allah, this is our first time and give us the victory. Because if you don't help us, we cannot win this battle. So he kept making dua and everything. Now the next one, the camping of the Battle of the Badr story. So basically in the morning they gathered together in a place and they say, okay, from here we're gonna launch our attack or something like this. In that there is a small story. It's the story of Al-Hubab ibn Munzir. I think it's time to buy a new one. This story, Hubab, the story of a Sahaba, Hubab al-Munzir, our Sheikh Yusuf, he mentioned it in the Tarawih time, and he mentioned it. So I'll just repeat it very quickly. What happened? This Sahabi asked Rasulullah, Ya Rasulullah, the place that you have chosen to sit down, is it from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Is a decision from Allah, or is it your opinion? That you choose the thing. Then Rasulullah, no, it is my decision. I choose this place to sit down. Then he said that in that case, Rasulullah, I tell you that we should go forward. And we should, in Badr, there's a big well. That's why it's called Badr. The Badr actually name of a person. There's a person named Badr. He dig a big well, in there. So, and there are some small wells there. So, according to his name, this place is called Battle, like the place of Badr. So, he said we should go forward and put all the wells behind us, so they don't have any supply for water. So, he made a suggestion, and Rasulullah accepted the suggestion. Now, this incident has demonstrated how big the leader of Rasulullah is. He was very generous. He is always in the favor of the shura, in counseling and everything. But this incident has another effect. Lot of groups still today, they use this incident saying that it means in the life of Rasulullah he had his personal opinion, and in his personal opinion we don't need to follow it. There are groups like this and they don't want to follow the sunnah. They measure, and it is very rare in the whole story of Rasulullah, only 2 incidents where Sahaba asked Rasulullah, is it from you or is it from Allah? This is one of the incident, and there is another incident. We'll discuss it later, like it's incident with the slave. But these are the only 2 incidents. But they don't understand people who say that. So it means what? Allah said to pray and everything, but Rasulullah say pray in Jama. So he put the importance of the pray in Jama. Or when you take off your shoes, take it. So everybody, this group of people say no, this is his personal opinion. Don't tell of these things. The laws of this and that, the divorce and marriage. No, these are his personal opinion. We don't have to follow it. And they said, okay, look, this is the incident. We don't know if it's from him or it's from Allah, but they are wrong obviously, because this incident is the exception, and also Rasulullah was there to approve it. When the Sahaba asked, he was there to approve the incident. So we should know this. This is the incident, one of the 2 incidents that happened in the life of Rasulullah. So after that, so they had camped, and now the few war tactics that Rasulullah implemented. Rasulullah was not an army leader, as you know. He was a shepherd in Makkah. And after last 13 years, what he did? He just tried to spread the message of La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. But Allah inspired him such a way that he put all these war tactics in his battle. In the first battle, it is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and no Arab has seen this kind of thing. So what are the things he did? He divided the army in 3 groups. He divided it in 3, and he gave the one group, the leader was Sa'd ibn Mu'adh. Sa'd ibn Mu'adh on the one side, and all the Ansar were behind him, and in the other side Ali ibn Abi Talib, and Ali was leading the people from Makkah, the Muhajirun, and in the middle he has a backup group, and he gave the flag, the white flag, to Mus'ab ibn Umair. And as you know, Mus'ab ibn Umair, we mentioned his name, he was from Makkah, but he is the first ambassador of Islam, meaning he came to Medina before, and in his hand all the Ansar became Muslim. Most of the Ansar, like almost 40 family became Muslim in the hand of Mus'ab ibn Umair. So that's why the flag was given to him, because Ansar also know him, and even people in Makkah, they also know him. And in that case, after this, what Rasulullah said, that we have to do war, and you have to be in line as you stand in the prayer. As you stand, so you have to make rows, which in Arabic called saffan. And Allah mentioned in the Quran that bunyanum masjid, saffan the bunyanum masjid, meaning you stand such a way that there is no gap. Usually Arab has a tradition, it's called qarru or fira, meaning they used to attack someone by a circle. So a group of people, 5 people go to attack someone, they make a circle, from the circle someone go attack and come back again, like fight and come back. This was their tradition. But this new tradition that Rasulullah implemented, the row upon row, that we see nowadays. Every country, every army, as you say, they march forward and everything, but stand one beside one, the way we stand in the prayer. And this is a new thing that Rasulullah did. And also in that, Rasulullah also implemented that he put the spears, the people with the spears and javelins in the front. So people who have some spears, you in the front. In the middle was the people with the sword, and at the 3rd row, it was the people with the archer. And he also mentioned, don't shower all your archers and everything at one go. Try to save it as long as they come closer. So these are the tactics that he said in the battle. Let's go to the next slide, inshallah. Now in that, there is a story of another Sahaba, Suad. So these are the smallest, and there are a lot of lessons from these stories. When he was, making the line straight, like the Imam does for the prayer, one of the Sahaba named Suad, he was out of the line, little bit back, okay? He was not in the line. And Rasulullah had a stick, he always had a stick in his hand. So he just poked the, stick in the belly of the Suad and said, "Oh Suad, you are behind, please come forward." So just tell him to come forward. And he was a bit far, so he used the stick. At that time, the Sahaba said, "Ya Rasulullah, you hurt me. You hurt me without reason. And you came with truth and justice, and I want justice from you." That's what he said. And instantly, Rasulullah dropped the stick. He took his shirt off like this, and he said, "Now it's your turn. You do the qasas." Qasas means, eye for eye, tooth for tooth. So he just taking his shirt off, and he's saying, "Now it's your turn. You can do it." And imagine who in the world, like forget about Rasulullah, any leader of any place will do this one? Never ever. I mean, this is an amazing thing you can imagine. Like, without any thinking, Rasulullah did this. And what the Sahaba did, the Suad, he knee down and he hugged Rasulullah and he kissed his belly. And Rasulullah said, "Hey Suad, what are you doing? You're supposed to hurt me with the stick." Then he said, "Ya Rasulullah, I'm going to the war, and I don't know whether I'm going to come from the battlefield. this could be my last thing that I'm talking to you. So I want to touch your skin before I die. So he was a genius also. The instantly he think this plan, and he Rasulullah that I want qasas, and Rasulullah do this, and he did. So Allah, it's the amazing story that how the Sahaba used to love Rasulullah Sallallahu. In the next slide, you cannot see, but if the wise man of the Quraysh, meaning, so when everybody is ready, and Rasulullah was saying that that they can see the enemy in the far away, he saw one guy in a camel. He is running here and there in the battlefield, in the front of the enemy battlefield. And Rasulullah, maybe Jibril or Allah told him that that guy is saying something good. So Rasulullah said, find out who is this guy. This guy is saying something good. Is anything good about the enemy, about the Quraysh? This is a wise man of the story. And this guy was Utbah ibn Rabi'ah. Utbah ibn Rabi'ah, if you remember, he's one of the leader of the Quraysh. He's the one when Rasulullah went to the Taif, and the people was stoning the Rasulullah, and he at the end took a shelter in a garden. At that time, this is Utbah. He sent some fruits for Rasulullah. So he was a Quraysh, he was a kuffar, but he has some good things. And as I mentioned last week, this is the guy who was telling the Quraysh, telling Abu Jahl not to do war. Because we don't need to, our caravan is safe. Abu Sufyan says, we don't need to make war and everything. He's saying, we're going to bloodshed, some of us will die, they will die. There's no point of doing this. So he was always trying to stop the war. So he was the guy, his name is Utbah ibn Rabi'ah. The next slide, the Mubaraza. Look, I'm going very quickly because if I want to go details, it's too much and it will take a long time. So what Mubaraza mean? Before the battle started, this was a tradition at that time. The two army gathered together. The one leaders of them, not the high leader, like the second leader, as you can, or second commander, you can say. Few of them or one of them come and fight one-on-one. So this is, you can say, like a introduction of the battle, or the appetizer of the battle, something like this. So they do Mubaraza. So 3 people from the Quraysh side, and amazingly these 3 people were Utbah, the one who doesn't want to war, but Abu Jahl invoked him. Abu Jahl said, no, you are a coward and this and that, a lot of other things, because Abu Jahl won the war, right? So he became angry, he lost his mind, and Utbah said, ask his brother Shaiba. So Utbah, Shaiba and his son Walid. So father, his son and uncle. So from one family. These 3 people, they went to do the Mubaraza. And they say, Ya Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, send us 3 people. We want to fight, we want to do the Mubaraza. So before Rasulullah says something, 3 young people from Ansar, they stood up and they eager to fight. But then these people say, the enemy, they say, no, we have nothing to do with you guys. You are from Medina, we have nothing to do with you guys. We want someone from us. We want someone who knows, who is the same level as us. Then Rasulullah picked the 3 people I mentioned here, Ali, Hamza and Ubaidillah ibn Harisa. These 3 people, Rasulullah picked by himself, and he said, you go and do the Mubaraza. And in the Mubaraza, Ali radiallahu anhu, he killed in one go. Like within a second, he killed the other guy. Hamza did the same, but Utbah was fighting with Ubaidillah because they're the same age level. And Ubaidillah ibn Haris, I don't know if you remember, but he was from the Quraysh. He was like a second cousin of Rasulullah, but he was a bit old guy. So Utbah managed to slice his leg off. And he was about to kill him, but by the time he was fighting with Ubaidillah, the other 2, like Ali and Hamza, they got free and they come and they killed Utbah. So Ubaidillah ibn Haris, he got injured severely and he suffered for a few days and few weeks, and after that he became Shahid. Only very few people of Muslim, only 14 or 15 people were Shahid in this battle, and Ubaidillah ibn Haris was one of them. So that was the incident of the Mubaraza. So the Mubaraza is finished, and Allah has given a small victory, the initial victory of the Muslim, that they have killed 3 leaders of the Quraysh. Now the main battle will begin, inshallah. Now before the battle starts, Rasulullah start making the dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala again, saying that the same thing, and this is one of the time that Rasulullah raised his hand. We have a people make dua by raising hand, that's fine, but not before, after the Congress Salah. But in this time, Rasulullah raised his hand up to the heaven, not like this. He was like this to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, saying, "Ya Allah, you help us. If you don't help us today, there will be no one in this world to worship you." Meaning what? Rasulullah, he knows that he is the last prophet. If he is dead today, and if his people is dead today, then there's no one else that they will come and guide them through. So he's asking Allah again and again, and by looking at him, every Sahaba was surprised, and surprised in the sense like how much pleading you can do to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then Abu Bakr went from the back, he hugged Rasulullah and he said, enough for Rasulullah, enough, inshallah ta'ala, Allah will listen to your dua, inshallah. And then Rasulullah turned around and his face was bright like a moon. So he's very happy to see that. And then he said to all the Sahaba, look, this is Jibril. So nobody can see the Jibril, but Rasulullah said, this is Jibril. He is armed and turban and riding his horse. Allah has sent him help with other angels. So Jibril came, and imagine, he said, he is in his horse. So meaning what? Angels also, they have their horse and they have their turban and everything. So they are armed in that way and they come and to do the battle. And then in this one, there's another story, which is the story of Ubayr ibn Hamam, who said that when Rasulullah was ready, everybody, and Rasulullah saw the other enemy, they start running. Because the enemy know that their 3 leader has died, right? So they are coming and charging forward. And Muslim also standing after him. So at that time, Rasulullah said, Kumu ila jannatil arda kasamawati wal ard. Meaning, stand up for a garden or for the Jannah, the width of which is like a earth and the sea. So Rasulullah is encouraging everyone. At that time, this Sahaba Umayr, he was having some dates. I think this incident also mentioned by our Sheikh Yusuf during the Ramadan time, that he was having some date and he was saying bakhin. Bakhin means like to trivialize something. Arab, they don't use it at the moment. It's mean like this. Sometimes we say very easy, like something like this. Bakhin means like this. So Rasulullah, why are you doing like this? Then he's saying, Ya Rasulullah, if the Jannah is like this, then the time to have these days, it is too long life for me. I don't want to have this date. It is too long for me. I just want to be in that Jannah. And Rasulullah said, you are in the Jannah. And he also became shaheed in this battle. As I said, very few people died, and he was one of them to become shaheed. And Rasulullah, before he became shaheed, Rasulullah said, you are in the Jannah. So he's already Jannah. Anyway, the people of the battle, the people of the Badr, who took part in Badr, all these 310 or 315 people, they are very, very special people. Very special people. And Allah said to Rasulullah that then after the battle of Badr, I have forgiven them. Whatever they do, I have forgiven them. And in that battle, who become shaheed, they are more special. And we will say later that the angels, they're coming down to help Rasulullah. So as Allah mentioned in the Surah Al-Anfal again, as I mentioned, this is the Surah of Battle of Badr, and Allah mentioned that I will assist you with 1,000 angels. Now why 1,000 angels? Jibril is enough to do this job. Jibril is enough to make sure that every Quraysh is finished. Because remember the story of Lut alayhi salam, right? And only Jibril came and he said, like in the tradition it says that with his wings he completed the whole city upside down. But why Allah is sending 1,000 angels here? Because Allah wants to honor the dua of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because the enemy is 1,000. Allah wants to say, because you have put your effort. It's not like angel is coming and doing the job for them. They have started the job. They are in the battlefield. All they are doing, they are helping them. And a lot of narrations are in there. A lot of stories. I didn't put them here because it's talk time. A lot of Sahaba, they say they have see the angels. They see that they have raised their sword to kill someone, and before they kill someone, that guy was pushed from the back, or his nose got chopped off, or something like this. And all done by the angels that Allah sent them in the world. And also, this is a high rank for the angels also, because later on, Jibril, in another hadith, the Jibril alayhi salam said, Ya Rasulullah, who do you think is the best people among your Sahaba? Then Rasulullah said, I think the people who took part in the battle of Badr, they are the best among us. Then Jibril said, we have the same group of angels who took part in the battle of the Badr, and they are the best among us. So, it mentioned that it gives them the honor to do that. And also, the angels were appearing, as I said, they were appearing in the yellow turban, and in the horse. And because it was yellow turban, because they were giving honor to another Sahaba. As I mentioned last week, there's only 2 horses in the army of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And one of the horse was Jubair ibn Awam. So the angels were, imitating him basically, just to give him honor that, they were dressed up like him. In the next slide, in the battlefield. So what happened in the battlefield basically? In the battlefield, as I said, Muslims started charging and they were fighting bravely, and they were killing the enemies of the time. And also it was mentioned that Rasulullah himself also took part. There are a difference of opinion, but most of the strongest opinion that on that battle, usually in general Rasulullah didn't fight because he was the leader, he was at the back. But in the battle of the Badr, Rasulullah fight himself. As Ali Rasulullah mentioned that we were behind Rasulullah when the enemy was getting furious, and and we are taking shelter behind Rasulullah. So meaning Rasulullah was fighting with the most bravery and most aggressively at that time. And also in that there is a story of Ukasha. This is a small story. So when the battle was going on, they're killing each other, and try to defend each other. One of the Sahaba, his name was Ukasha. He came running to Rasulullah and he said, "Ya Rasulullah, my sword broken." He hit some armor and his sword got broken. So what should I do? Because he cannot run away from the battlefield, right? So Rasulullah said he took some twigs. Twigs means like some part of the tree, like some branches of the tree. He was in front. He said, "Okay, go fight with him. Go fight with this." And he took these twigs and he went to the battlefield and it became a sword. And this sword he kept with him till the time of Abu Bakr. And when he was buried, and he was in all the jihad after this, and when this Ukasha was buried, he said, "Please, when I die, bury this sword with me." And so they buried the sword with this. Now in this incident, it's a miracle obviously from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But imagine if you go at that place and if you're saying, "Okay, my sword is broken," and Rasulullah giving you some branches of the tree, the first thing you will ask, "Ya Rasulullah, how am I going to fight with this one? Give me a sword or something," right? But look at the iman of the Sahaba. He didn't ask anything. He said, Rasulullah said this, I took this, I fight. And this is called iman. So this is what we learned from this lesson, how much they love Rasulullah and what is the level of their iman. And in the battlefield, as I mentioned, the Rasulullah said not to kill Al-Abbas, because Al-Abbas was a secret Muslim, you can say, in Makkah, but he was in the enemy field. There's another guy called Abdul Bukhtari and some people from the Banu Hashim. Rasulullah told the Sahaba, please don't kill these people, because these people are forced to fight. They are in the battlefield, but don't kill these people. But inshallah next week you'll know that one of the guy, Abdul Bukhtari, he was killed because there are some reasons. We'll discuss it inshallah next week. Now the last two slides, obviously the death of Abu Jahl, and this was done by two young people. Abu Jahl, as you all know, that he was the Pharaoh of the Sunnah, right? Rasulullah said he is the Pharaoh of the Ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And only two young guys, one and both from Ansar. They're 16 and 17 years old, and they're from Medina. They haven't seen Abu Jahl before. So they were asking Abdurrahman ibn Auf, he was from Medina. They were asking Abdurrahman, "Ya Abdurrahman, do you know who is Abu Jahl? Can you show us?" Then he said, "Why?" Because we took oath, we made a qasam to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we will die, but we will kill this guy because he insulted Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So just show us where is this guy. Then Abdurrahman ibn Auf, he showed him that this is Abu Jahl, and these two young guys, they go one after one. But one of the guy, whose name is Muaz ibn Amr, it's not the Sa'ad ibn Muaz, Muaz is the Amr, he lost his hand. Because Abu Jahl was protected by his son Ikrimah. Ikrimah was a very strong man, he was the son of Abu Jahl. Ikrimah became a Muslim later on, but Ikrimah, he was protecting his father, and in the fighting, that guy, he lost his hand, and he was all his life, he lived a long life, but he was without the hand. And the other guy also helped to kill Abu Jahl. And when they came back to Rasulullah, Rasulullah was very happy. And both were asking, "Ya Rasulullah, I killed him." Others said, "No, I killed him." So they are just arguing. But Rasulullah said, "No, both of you killed him, and you are both honored." And after the battle, Rasulullah asked the Sahaba, "Can you find the body of Abu Jahl? Can anybody make sure that he is dead?" So Abdullah ibn Masud is the Sahaba who became Muslim. He's like sixth or seventh Muslim, as we mentioned before, very early Muslim. And he also went through a lot of torture in Makkah. A lot of torture went through Abdullah ibn Masud, and he found the body of Abu Jahl, but he was not dead at that time. He was still breathing his last. And Abdullah ibn Masud put his feet on the chest of Abu Jahl, and then he said, "Ya Adu Allah," meaning that you are enemy of Allah. Did you believe now that Rasulullah is on truth, and you are being disgraced, you have been humiliated? Still at that time Abu Jahl said, No, I am not humiliated. You guys are humiliated. You killed your own blood, meaning they are from the same tribe. Look, now he's bringing that issue, the tribalism. And then he said, Ya Abdullah ibn Masud, you are putting your feet in a high place. Because Abdullah is putting his feet on his chest, he is still saying that he is very high, he's very arrogant, You are putting your feet in a very high place. And that time, the Abdullah ibn Masud, he took his sword and he gave him the last blow. So Abu Jahl was dead at that time, and they came to Rasulullah and said, they know Abu Jahl was dead. And there's another story here, the death of Umayyah ibn Khalaf. I mentioned this because we had a lot of story of Umayyah. You all know the story of Bilal, right? When Bilal became a Muslim, they used to, his owner was Umayyah. Umayyah was tortured him, the Bilal, a lot. As you know, they used to tie him in the sun, put a stone on his chest, and Bilal was still saying Ahadun Ahad. So Umayyah was a friend of Abdul Rahman. Abdul Rahman is a Sahaba now, but they had a good friendship in the time of Islam, like before Islam. So Umayyah was saying, he understood that they are lost now. So Umayyah is saying, I will give you a lot of ransom. Whatever you want, 100 milking camels. Milking camels are very good. I'll give you all this, please save me. Now Abdul Rahman ibn Auf is a big businessman, and it is a halal, because in war you can have prisoners of war, right? And also at that time, the rules of jihad hasn't been revealed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But Abdul Rahman said, okay, I'll give you protection as long as you give me the word you say. He said, okay, that's fine, thank you, you saved me. So Abdul Rahman was saving him and taking him to the safe place. At that time Bilal saw it. And Bilal said, no, you cannot save this person over my dead body. If you want to save him, you have to kill me first. And then Bilal got some other people, like other Ansar, and they killed Umayyah ibn Khalaf. So this is another leader of the Quraysh, he passed away. And this is the last slide, this story of Abu Ubaidah ibn Zarrah. Abu Ubaidah ibn Zarrah is another great Sahabi. We should at least remember the 10 Sahaba, the names of 10 Sahaba that Rasulullah guaranteed Jannah, the Asharul Mubashara. And he was one of them, Abu Ubaidah ibn Zarrah. What happened basically, his father is on the enemy side. And his father was a very stubborn person, and he was full of hate for his son, because his son became a Muslim. So his son, Abu Ubaidah, he was trying to avoid his father. So whenever he sees his father, he go other place and fight. But his father was following him, and eventually he tried to fight with his son. But obviously the son is young and the dad is old, and in the fighting he killed his father. He killed his father, and people after the battle make some comment that he is the one who is the killer of his own father. Because as you know, in Arab, of course even in now, if someone kills their own father, doesn't matter they are Muslim or non-Muslim, it is a very big thing, So he feels very sorrow after the battle. And then to console him, Allah sent the ayah of the surah. It's the Surah Al-Mujadilah. It's the surah number 58 and the last ayah in that. And where Allah says, I'll finish with this ayah, where Allah said, Ya Rasulullah Sallallahu, you won't find those people who make friendship with the kuffar, who have love for Allah and His Rasul. Even though if the kuffar are from their father, or the son, or their brother, or their ashiratahum, meaning they're the neighbors and everything, even though and then Allah said, Allah said, وَكَتَبَ فِي قُلُوبِهِمْ بِالْإِيمَانِ, meaning Allah, kataba means writing. Allah has wrote iman in their heart. وَكَتَبَ مِنْ قُلُوبِهِمْ, and then Allah said, وَيُدْخُلُ فِي الْجَنَّةِ الْتَجْرِي مِنْ تَحْتِهَا الْأَنْهَارُ, and for them is the Jannah. And at the end Allah said, أُولَٰئِكَ حِزْبُ اللَّهِ, they are the party of Allah. أُولَٰئِكَ حِزْبُ اللَّهِ, they are the party of Allah, and Allah said they are the successful one. So these are the small stories gathered together in the battlefield. Inshallah next week we'll talk about what happened after the battle. Like now the Quraysh are dead and they have lots of prisoners of war. So inshallah we'll discuss how this was all happened and everything, and we'll go from there inshallah. Thank you for your time. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika wa